Hey, what's up guys? My name is Slcmof and I'm back again with another video, and in this one we're going to be reviewing 5 books that I got today on New Comic Book Day for DC. Of course, last week there were no comics, and I do want to do this more regularly. I did it for Batman #1 and Green Arrow #1, so roughly 3 weeks ago. And you guys seem to enjoy it a lot, and a lot of the comments were just do more, lots of comments like that. So, I plan to do more. So here we go. I'm going to be reviewing all the books that I picked up today. The only ones that came out today, a part of the Rebirth titles that I did not get, and it was purely by accident because I just didn't see it on the shelf, was Titans Rebirth. So usually I just scan the shelf twice. I have a pretty big comic book store that I go to. And, I don't have the list ahead of time, but, I don't like pull lists. I like picking out the comics for myself, so, sometimes that happens where I miss it. So I'll read Titans next week when I go on Wednesday. So, I do have, Green Arrow #2, I have Batman #2, I have Aquaman #2, and Superman #2, and actually a #1, and this is Justice League #1. So, let's actually go through them in the order that I read them. I want to do this in a one-take kind of form. So, Green Arrow #2. I'm really enjoying this book. It might actually be my favorite, and I love the Batman v Superman ads on all the back of these. Usually I don't like ads in comic books, especially off the back of the ads. If it's related to DC Comics or Marvel, depending upon what you're reading, then I'm really pleased about having, an ad. But if it's like, Clorox cleaner or stuff like that, I mean, generally on the back they try to do stuff related to the brand. Anyway, so, Batman v Superman ad, yes, super excited to get that Blu-ray. I'll be getting that on day 1. I believe it comes out on the 19th. And look forward to my audio commentary. I'm doing a 3-hour audio analysis breakdown commentary of Batman v Superman Ultimate Edition. And a lot of people on Twitter were happy to hear that, I guess. So, when I proposed the idea, so that's why I decided to ultimately do it. So look forward to that if you want to watch Batman v Superman with me and hear why I love it and it's my favorite comic book movie of all time. So Green Arrow #2. This was an amazing book. The last one ended in a cliffhanger, of course. And overall, I mean, just this series is just phenomenal. I love the art in here. It has kind of a fun kind of vibe to it, at least what I'm getting. And I believe the artists change every other book because, of course, it's hard for an artist to do 2 books in a month, but that's what they're doing with the Rebirth titles. And it's kind of deep in a way. Like towards the end, I guess I'm going to go into mild spoilers here. I won't have any big spoilers, but there is a situation where Oliver Queen is walking through the streets, and he recognizes that he has no money. He can't even get a cab, and this is Oliver Queen, a billionaire. And the political implications of the fact that, kind of the visceral nature of like wealth in our world, it's very deep in a way. Again, Oliver Queen, this billionaire, he's walking through the streets and he's mistaken for a homeless man, and he can't even get a cab ride, and people are like, yeah, whatever, go beg for money. When he asks for something relating to an Oliver Queen building that's being built, and he inquires about it to somebody working on it, and they just shoo him off. He said, go beg for money. So that was really interesting to see, and again, I think that they're playing with a lot of ideas that are bigger than just Green Arrow himself. So I really enjoyed that, and it's political in nature, of course. The Rebirth title showed that as well. So we have Batman #2 here. Batman #1 of this Rebirth, I believe it's by Tom King, yes, was one of my favorite Batman books I've ever read. I mean, simply a phenomenal issue. It's very action heavy, that one. This one is also quite action heavy, surprisingly. It starts out with a bang, and we have Solomon Grundy in the mix. And I love towards the beginning, again, not really a spoiler here, but I love at the beginning, we essentially have Batman, you have Gotham and Gotham Girl, I believe are their names. And, initially I was worried that they were going to overemphasize these characters, and it seems as though it's still going to be a Batman book. And essentially what you have is that they basically are like Superman. That's their power structure sort of thing. And at the end of the book, there's actually this great moment, not really a spoiler, I think it's okay, it's not like a spoiler moment, where Gotham and Gotham Girl are on the top of the GCPD building with Jim Gordon, and basically Batman disappears, and Gotham, the male of the counterpart, he essentially goes, where did he go? I can't see him. And Gotham, of course, has X-ray vision. And he's like, this is impossible. How can I not see where he is? And Jim Gordon retorts, it's possible. He's Batman. And I just love that line. And also, Batman is the one that takes down Solomon Grundy in the first 3 pages of the book. And Gotham and Gotham Girl. Again, these people have like superhuman powers, and Batman is the one to take him down. So I loved that. I also loved how they're kind of like subservient to Batman. Batman's like, you can do better, and I kind of love that. I love the idea of like Batman giving pointers to Superman or to Flash or somebody way more powerful than him, which he often does. Part of it's snarky, just his attitude, but a part of it as well is because he's just smarter than all these other heroes. So it's great to see. It's like, you're giving pointers to me. Wait a minute, buddy. You don't even have superpowers, but it's just a great dynamic that they have in there. I'm loving that Batman series. Going to keep reading it. So Aquaman number 2. Love the first issue. I love the whole storyline, which was kind of the first issue was about the colliding of the human and I guess water worlds, shall we say, kind of coming together. Not just Atlantis, everything. So that was kind of the whole thing with the first issue. It ended with a bang and a cliffhanger, shall I say. And then that's continued here, and we essentially see Aquaman, and we see the Atlanteans as well, kind of being snug to the humans. And even though, and essentially, one of the Atlanteans gives this line, I forget who it was, and they're essentially like, save all these humans, even though I don't like humans, save them anyway, or even though I don't respect humans, or something along these lines. So they still don't like each other. The Atlanteans don't like the humans, and vice versa. So that's kind of an interesting dynamic that the only reason that they're actually that the Atlanteans tried to save any of the humans from this big disaster that's occurring is purely for political reasons, seemingly that they know the cameras will be on and they want as few humans to die, and the Atlanteans know that even though it was Black Manta that did all this, the Atlanteans are going to be kind of, particularly Aquaman is going to be framed for doing this, and it's quite frankly a genius plan from Black Manta as somebody that wants to deconstruct Aquaman in addition to actually just outright kill him for out of vengeance. So this was a great book. It really impressed me. This whole series is really impressing me, as is all of DC Rebirth. I mean, it's just phenomenal. I haven't read a bad issue yet of DC Rebirth. So it's just an exciting time to be a DC fan. All 3 of those I just talked about were phenomenal. Let's get into Superman number 2. Now, Superman number 1 I really enjoyed, and one of the fears I had for this book is that they were going to go into Superman and Son, which with the new Superman back, the pre-New 52 Superman, I think that's the worst mistake that they could have made, is just kind of overfixate on Superman's son, and they don't do it here. It's still a Superman book, and I think that's very important. And you incorporate Lois Lane and his son into the kind of in a side character role, but of course his son drives a lot of the plot aspects, but John, he's still kind of a kid learning his powers, and again, I'm just really pleased that the direction they're going with the book and the story, and they're keeping it character focused. They're keeping it focused on Superman and again Lois and that kind of thing. But so they're keeping it narratively kind of coherent in that sense, but they're also keeping it very much so Superman is the star of the book, in that he's on the cover, as she should be. So this was a great, but this is actually a variant cover, I'm pretty certain. Aquaman was a variant cover as well. The Batman was the regular one, and because I just love this so much, I didn't, the variant one, I like this one more, and the Green Arrow one as well. I'm pretty certain this is just the original. It's hard to tell which is the variant or which is not, but anyway, I like, honestly, I just pick whichever one I think is coolest, and I don't actually know what the main cover is unless DC tweets it, and then I can see, oh, so that's what it's supposed to be like. Okay. Justice League Rebirth. Now, this surprised me. I love seeing the Trinity right here on the front page. Definitely not so coincidental. And I also love as well, might I add, that they have for the ads for Suicide Squad in the bottom, that's the left, Slcmof, bottom right. Everything's inversed. I'm looking into the screen. Anyway, so I love how they have that there, because what they used to do, if you remember in the New 52, they would put on the top big banner, they would write Batman v Superman comes out. And I'm glad that they don't do that anymore, because I mean, maybe it's just because they don't have room, but I'm just saying, I love that it's in the small, because I don't, when you look at your comic books, you don't want a big ad on the front of it, you know what I mean? Save the ads for the back. Just saying. So I love that it gets everybody excited for Suicide Squad if they're not already, and lets everybody know about it without kind of being too in your face and maybe devaluing the future value of that book, maybe if you're into selling comic books, which I'm not. I just read it as a fan. But anyway, Justice League Rebirth. Really enjoy this book. It's vague in a strange way of the antagonist or what's kind of going on in the broader sense. You just get thrust right into it. And the opening monologue to me was one of my favorite parts about it. And essentially it questions, like, the worth of heroes in our world, and essentially it's saying like, why us? Like, why are we always the ones getting attacked? And it kind of pulls into play the idea in Batman v Superman and also Man of Steel. That's, and if you think about Batman v Superman and Man of Steel, the only reason that any of the bad things that have happened thus far in the DCEU, whether it be Doomsday, whether it be Zod coming to Earth and with just wreaking havoc on everything, and the Terraformer and everything else like that, it's because of Superman. If Superman had never came to Earth, then none of these things would have happened. So the book very much so, the opening monologue very much so alludes to this idea of like, well, are these guys helping or hurting? But then it's remedied in a strange way at the end. Spoiler alert, I guess. It's not a spoiler, but just at the end you see this epic line, they are our heroes, they are the Justice League. So humanity sort of embraces the Justice League at the end, whereas the opening monologue indicates just the opposite. So a great kind of forthcoming of that idea at the beginning of the book of like questioning why us in the moments of peril. That's probably what we wonder, and then when they save us, we're quite pleased with it. So kind of human. That's how we are. Selfish a little bit. So overall, I mean, all 5 of these books are for absolutely phenomenal. I'm going to keep reading all of these series. Let's pick a favorite out of all of them. So out of Superman, Green Arrow, Batman, Aquaman, and Justice League, I will say Green Arrow number 2 is my favorite out of this week and last week, or this kind of batch. Of course, they're on the same schedule, like Wonder Woman and The Flash. Those are all on their own kind of weekly schedule. They alternate weeks, and on this sort of weekly focus of you have Green Arrow, Superman, Batman is the main 3. Batman was my favorite 2 weeks ago, or I guess it would now be 3 weeks ago, and this week, Green Arrow was my favorite. But again, they're all so good. I mean, it doesn't matter, honestly. I mean, which is the best, or they're slightly better than one another. They're all so good, and I legitimately mean that these are all just really, really good books, and I would suggest them all. And it's kind of a painful for the wallet a little bit, but it is what it is. You got to pick them all up. They're all so good. So anyway, guys, hope you'll have enjoyed the video. If you did, feel free to give a thumbs up. And do you want to see more comics videos in the future? Did you enjoy this one? And just let me know in the comment section below. My name is Slcmof, and we'll see you in the next one.